Welcome everybody, welcome back to our third dinner tonight cooking demonstration for you all this week. Like we've mentioned before, my name is Angie Cifuentes. I'm your family and community health agent for Webb County. And today we're going to be making a really yummy recipe. I've been excited for this since like Monday, since before. So I'm really excited to prepare this with you all. But as always, just making sure with our first steps, we've got a clean working station. Everything has been washed and ready to go. And right now what I'm going to do is put on a little bit of hand sanitizer. I've already washed my hands a couple of times, but better be safe than sorry. So here we have, I got my gloves on and we're gonna get started pretty soon. But like I said, this is part of, our dinner tonight program, trip to the Mediterranean. And one of the main, not concerns, but things that we want to highlight throughout the week is that all of these recipes follow a Mediterranean diet, which means that they are high in protein. They have a lot of fruits and vegetables included, like yesterday's recipe, the roasted kale and caramelized onions. They also base themselves a lot in flavoring our foods with spices and herbs rather than our go-to salt and basing most of our flavors on that. So what we have for you all today is a mustard crusted salmon. So first off, I'm going to read the ingredients out to you all. So here we have it should be a pound of salmon fillet. Right now I have half a pound because I've already prepared the other half so that you all can see the finished product. But as you can see here, a fillet should be about, it's a good portion. If you fit it in the palm of your hand, it's those 3 ounces that we talked about this morning that you should be eating. We also have a little bit of pepper that we're going to use to season our salmon. We've got some Greek yogurt. I've purchased the non-fat Greek yogurt, and Greek yogurt provides protein and calcium in our diet. So it's really important, especially because it's full of good bacteria. And these bacteria cultures help with our digestive system, especially for those that are lactose sensitive, like I am. These types of yogurts, the Greek yogurt, helps us digest and break down lactose. So we're able to, have a stronger digestive system so that whenever we are, eating lactose and we're sensitive to it, our digestive system is a little stronger and it can help us break it down. So we also have some olive oil mayonnaise. So that's very important. And the reason why we pick an olive oil mayonnaise is because we want to cut down on the total fat for the recipe. But this is the only source of fat that we're using. Like I said, this is the Greek yogurt is a 0 fat. So we're going to get most of our moisture. We don't want our salmon to dry up. So this is where we're getting it from our mayo. We've also got stone ground mustard. So this, it's got a stronger taste and it's got a really nice texture to it. So it's going to add some really interesting flavors. We also have a little bit of lemon juice and we're going to be using a little bit of orange juice. So let's get started. So first off, I'm going to prepare my salmon. So when you're going to the grocery store to look for salmon, you want to make sure of some very important things. One, it's going to sound kind of weird to say, but fish should not smell fishy. I know that when we go to the grocery store, that whole fish market area smells fishy. But if you purchase your package, take a little waft, and it shouldn't smell like a really strong scent. It should be mild and fresh, but it should not smell fishy or sour or something related to ammonia. We don't want that. We also want to have fish that are firm and that, when you press it, it doesn't leave the indentation. We also want it to be colorful. As you can see, we've got our salmon here. It's a really bright color. We don't want to see any discoloration, like maybe a lighter pink or, you know, a lighter color in the salmon skin. We don't want that. We want to make sure that we get a fresh cut, and also that in between these segments that there aren't any connective tissue. So as you can see here, it's all pink. It's all like a bright red salmon color. So these are some pretty good cuts that we have here. So, and we got a little piece that fell off. So first off, what we're going to do is I'm going to remove my glove so that I can grab the pepper canister. And the good thing is that I've already washed my hands, so we're good to go. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to lightly cover it. So our recipe calls for 1/8 of a teaspoon. So if you want to measure it, you can do so. You can also, I mean, in this case, I'm a little more used to the different measurements. So I've just prepared it right now. So what we're going to do is, it's going to be a light sprinkle of it. This is just to give it a little bit of spice. Okay. And what we can do now is we're going to set these fillets aside. Now I've already got my baking dish here. It's ready for me. Like Miss Karina mentioned yesterday, we have some pretty good baking pans, so we don't need to worry about putting, you know, parchment paper or cooking spray. But if you have some that might stick a little bit and you don't want to do some of that scrubbing, you you line up your baking dish with parchment paper, and you can coat a little bit of cooking spray if you'd like. You know what? Let's not leave this little piece of salmon. Let's put it in there so it can cook with us as well. Cook with the rest of it as well. So we're going to move this off to the side. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to switch up my gloves, because these already have, like, I already touched raw fish with it. So now that I'm going to cook my vegetables, as you can see, I switched up my cutting board. We're not going to use the same one. And I'm going to wear a new pair of gloves. And the reason for this is because we want to avoid cross-contamination. And, sorry, I'm going to sneeze. I'm sorry about that. I think that was the pepper. You have to be very careful with that. Because you don't want to be sneezing on over your dinner. Alright, so let's put on these gloves. And we're going to, so I've already washed my green onions. We're going to use 3 green onions. And what we're going to do is we're going to chop them. I would suggest a fine chop, so something that doesn't give you a really big chunk of green onions. You don't want it to be too overpowering. You want it to blend in with the rest of the flavors. So I'm doing, you know, just small, quick cuts so that they could be even. We're going to be using this in our dressing. So this is what we're going to marinate our fillets in right now. So you want to go all the way. You're not just going to use the green part of the onion. You're going to cut it all the way to the little root, because that's where you get a stronger onion flavor. And I mean, I really like it. So we're gonna go all in here. Okay. Move this off to the side. And what we're going to do is I'm going to get my scooper and I'm going to put it into my mixing bowl right here, where we're going to make our dressing. And we'll go over everything in a little bit. So now that I've added my green onions, we're going to measure out everything else. So first off, we're going to start with our mayonnaise. So I'm going to bring back my olive oil mayonnaise, and we are going to use 2 tablespoons of this, okay? So remember what Miss Karina said yesterday? Big one, like a table, the size of a table. So we're going to use this big one. We're going to scoop in 2 tablespoons. Now remember, we're doing this for 1 pound of our salmon fillets, okay? So I'm still going to make the full the full recipe for you all, but we're only going to be using half. Remember, we only have half a pound right now. I've already prepared the other half for you all to see that final product because it's a really, really great recipe. So we're gonna scoop that in there. Put that over to the side. And then we've got our stone ground mustard. So same thing with our mustard. We're going to get 2 tablespoons. And this one's a lot easier to measure. 2 tablespoons of this. Make sure to get it nice and full. Put it in here on our mixing bowl. Going in for our second one. And let's see, here we go. So this recipe that we're making right now is really, really chock full of protein. So if you want to increase your protein consumption, then this is the recipe for you. Because not only does protein help support our body functions, like fighting infections, which is something that's been very relevant lately, but it also provides a lot of nutrients for our body. It builds and helps us contract our muscles. It also helps us balance our body fluids and our clots, our blood clots, making sure that, you know, we have a healthy, you know, what is it called, like a blood system. Also making sure that we marinate our foods like we're going to do right now with fresh herbs. We're using, you know, veggies and different spices other than salt. So this is going to help us still bring out that flavor in our food without adding something that we really don't need. All right, so now we're going to move over to our Greek yogurt. So I'm going to use one of my tablespoons. And what do we need here? So 2 tablespoons. So super easy to remember. 2, 2, and 2 of your creamy ingredients. Let's put them like that. Because this is how we're going to make our sauce. So we're going to scoop up another tablespoon. There we go. Put that in there. And now we're going to, you can mix it a little bit because mine was looking a little more to the side, but it's still going to be really, really thick. So just give it a quick mix, because now we're going to add a little bit of lemon juice and a little bit of orange juice. So here we have, we're going to need 2 tablespoons of lemon juice and 1 tablespoon of orange juice. So I'm going to pour this. Let's do our lemon juice first, since it's 2 as well. Now I want to drop this. It's a lot easier when you're doing it at home and you don't have to wear these gloves. But here we have 1 and 2. I almost measured it correctly. And we're going to have 1 tablespoon of orange juice. So this is natural orange juice. We don't want a sweetened orange juice. This is as natural as you can get because we don't want those added sugars. We don't need them, y'all. And clearly I've made a mess here. That'll happen. It's a kitchen. Things like this happen all the time, so not to worry. So now let's mix this up. This is smelling really good. I wish you all were here so that you could smell this. It has a really, really nice tangy flavor, but it's also slightly spicy, and I'm guessing this is from the mustard. So now that we've got it really well incorporated, we're going to add our lemon zest. So when you're using your lemon zest, you want to make sure that your grater, we're not going to use the bigger portions. We're going to use the smallest one that you have. And this is so that we can get really, really fine pieces of the lemon zest and without getting to the white part. So once you've gotten to the white part of the skin, you've zested enough. So what we're going to do, and we have to watch out for our fingers, and we're just going to kind of grate it over. And we're going to be moving our lemon around. So we're going to use a zest of 1 lemon. So this is just, it's going to bring out a really, really nice citric flavor, and it's going to complement really, really well with the salmon. And if you all haven't noticed, if you do all of the recipes that we've done so far, you've got an appetizer, you've got your side dish, and now you've got your main dish. So here we have a full-on, you know, dinner that you can have for your entire family. And as you can see, it's ingredients that we have in our kitchen most often, or it's things that we can buy at the grocery store and we'll use them again. It's not something that's really like niche just for this particular recipe. So we're almost done. We're going to zest the heck out of this lemon so that we can get some really good flavors. And you also want to make sure to pick fresh lemons. Make sure that they're not bruised. Make sure that they don't have any punctures, or, you know, sometimes I've seen like little nail indentations in my grocery store produce. We want to make sure that we are getting fresh, clean, safe produce whenever we are buying our groceries. All right, just a little bit more. And we don't want to get to the white part because it'll be a little bit bitter. So it's going to stick to the grater. So just kind of tap it lightly on both sides so you can get all of that zest. Let's put this over to the side. And we're going to mix it all together. Oh, this just smells real good, y'all. Okay, so now that we've got this going, we're going to put this on our salmon. So like I mentioned earlier, I won't be using all of it. But this, what you make right here, is the exact amount for the 4 pieces of salmon fillets that you buy with the 1 pound packaging. So right now we're only going to use half since it's just 2 fillets. And let's get a close-up here so that you can see how they're coated. So what I'm going to do is just spoon a little bit at a time, but I'm going to make sure that it sticks to the top part, okay? And we want to make sure that it's all covered. So it'll be approximately 3 spoons about this size. We want to make sure we get it all covered up. This is going to make sure that when our fish is cooking, that it stays as moist as possible. So that's what we want. We don't want a dry fish. So we're going to scoop all of that over there. Spread it really nice and neat. And there we go. So 3 spoonfuls for one fillet, another 3 spoonfuls for the other. And here we have the other half for those other 2 fillets. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put this into our oven, which has already been preheating. We will put it in broil, okay? So we're not using the bake option. We're going to use a broil, and we're going to leave it for anywhere from 10 to 12 minutes, or you can always use your handy, oh, here it is, your food thermometer. So salmon should cook at 145, so 145 degrees Fahrenheit. So I've already set it here at 145. At 10-12 minutes, you check your salmon. Make sure that when you put this into your fillet, it doesn't touch the pan. The pan is going to be hotter than your fish. So you want to make sure that you get from the thickest part of the fish. You can, depending on how your pan works, you can either go from the side or from the front. And make sure that you go into the middle of it. Whenever you're using this for different types of meat, you want to make sure that you don't touch the bone as well, because that's going to give you an off temperature. So here we are. We're going to put this in the oven, and we're going to come up with our baked salmon. So here it is, you all. It still retains that bright melonish color. And what we're going to do now is we're going to plate it over here, and it's going to be super yummy. And Miss Corey and I are going to have a really, really great snack right now. So let's bring that over here. And that's one fillet. Imagine this with that kale from yesterday. We're going to have, oh no, we're good. It's still good. We saved it. I'm glad it fell on the plate. But here we are. We've got our 2 fillets of salmon. These other 2 are going to go in the oven right now. But you know what? I'm not going to wait, y'all. I'm going to get a little piece of this. because I've been waiting all week for this recipe. So, bon appetit. Provecho para todos. Hope you like the recipe. And we'll see you all tomorrow. Oh, this is so good. Love it.